ReZero, Season 3, Episode 3. Speaking of silver-haired seductors. He's a pretty reasonable guy. Why is everyone always interrupting Regulus Corneus? It's just common courtesy, you idiot. Wow, you're violating my rights. Wow, he actually said rational and unselfish. I don't know how I feel about Sabara actually falling into his rhythm, though. Sabara was like, you know what, he's kind of right. I was rude. Are we not friends? Okay. Why is everyone out here violating Regulus's rights all the time? I will say this season just jumped right into the action. Give me Otto. This isn't the liquor store. That's alcohol, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, okay, it makes sense that they'd be in the same place. This is getting a little bit stacked against us. It's a lot of bad things. He too ceased to exist. Don't talk to it. Don't talk to them. Okay. Okay. So they have no relation then. They're not allied. This is good. Let them. That's his right. Yeah. He talks a lot about rights. It's interesting. It's a little bit of entitlement there. Everything is really about him, you know? If I don't like something you do, you're just stepping on my rights. I have a right to get what I want. All right. So they do know each other, or they know who each other are, but they have no alliance. And I guess one obvious point of contention being their different views on Emilia and her function for them. It's actually very greedy of him, come to think of it. I imagine this is one of those object of my desires type relationships, especially considering Emilia is unconscious. It's my right. It's a natural right. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. You would think just from the, you know, the cult stuff. Tina's not gonna be happy when she wakes up to know that you fled. You just fled and left Tina? Yeah, we need Emilia back. This is very rude. I'm in the middle of dealing with someone else. Okay, cool. You don't need to explain it. To him, I mean, I appreciate it. This we've seen. That should look familiar. If you know Betelgeuse, you know what that was. It's very considerate of you. Oh, there's a lady in my arms. Sparrow too busy being the user of little girls. Don't engage with it, Subaru. Not like this. I didn't know her name. I mean, he's just collecting them, I guess. It's very greedy of you. He said the quiet part out loud. Shh, stop telling on us. Oh, you think it's Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is the one she got the love from. Oh. What if this is, I'm just throwing out ridiculous theories here. What if it's Fortuna? I know she's dead. I think I'm just struggling with the fact that more than 2 women liked Betelgeuse. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm trying to justify this, but you know, I don't want to say that Regulus is right about the face thing. I mean, he's extremely over the top, obvious play on this kind of stereotype. The reason it comes to mind as something worth mentioning is that, well, I don't think physical attraction is the only thing that matters in a romantic relationship. It can be really powerful and important. I mean, it really depends on the individual. I just think you go wrong when something is true, but you try to pretend it's not true because you don't like the consequences of what the truth implies. Romantic partnerships in particular are just so complex because there's so many things at once. They're not any one thing. There's this kind of pull that makes us want to think all of the things we want and like stem from our conscious minds. Some things are just biological. And what gets really tricky is that you might not be able to change your biological tastes, and it's much harder to change your biological appearance. But other elements that are important for a relationship, like decency and trust and rapport, those are things that are a little bit more malleable and more conscious and can be built. In the the past I've taken a little bit of heat from people in my environment for not liking it when I'm physically picky. But like, I don't want to date someone I'm not attracted to physically. And because it's me in my life and I'm not placing any requests or demands on anyone else, I don't necessarily want to feel bad about that. But it's like such a pervasive thing. It's hard to talk about. Or maybe it's my weakness and maybe I will walk through fire until I learn the lessons I need to learn. But one way or the other, that's the way it's going to be, I guess.
はいはい、ありがとう。どうもごめんね。今取り込み中なんです。
It's rude of you, Regulus.
一途な思いなんて言い訳して勝手に相手の亀を名乗るとか気持ち悪いって気づけよ。
As opposed to me, who doesn't even care about people's names as I marry them. You made eye contact? That's hard. Imagine making eye contact with someone you love. When I inhaled his exhaled breath. This is sounding less like a relationship and more like stalking. There's actually a little bit of a nice rapport going on between these two witch cultists, even if they don't know each other. Beach is so over this. Beach was wishing she was still in her library. Did Subaru and Regulus just become friends? This is so crazy. This is wild, this whole thing. And yeah, Gluttony hasn't even arrived. That's nice of you. That's not... Okay, that wasn't very nice. What does this have to do with the wedding? That was your right, your natural right. You shouldn't have made me feel offended. Well, if it's any consolation, you're probably about to... Or not? Yeah, I guess she's keeping him alive. There was no sacrifice that time. Yeah, these two just absconded together. Finally, we can get back to the important things in this city, like Garf's mom. I mean, I'm sure it's great, but like, man, back to back with what just happened. Feels like the volume just got turned down. She has such anime mom voice. That is not shocking. Oh, you called me by my hero name. Are we sure this is mom? She doesn't recognize you. Rude. I now have the natural right to take revenge on you. Uh-oh. He's not even an animal. Or is he? Stepdads are tough. Let Elsa in a little bit. I don't know. Let the right one in. No. I like how in her like innocent world, the only reason he'd be upset is because he has a stomach ache. It's the only thing to be upset about. It's either that or not having any prey to kill. I really didn't think it was either at first, but that was a big boat. What animal do you transform into? Oh no, what if Garf just outs his mom? Alright, that was a hit. Okay, this guy seems nice, at least. Okay, that explains it. That explains why she would not come back for them. What about... We saw the tree, no? Oh, we just need to get her out. Okay. You must feel so happy to know she's alive, and also a little bit terrible that like you just left her there, didn't even bother. I mean, I saved her from the rock slide. She had to marry me. That's how love works. And I have a beautiful face. And so does she. There's sort of a question of whether or not to even reveal yourself to her. I mean, I think you should, but I could imagine that being a dilemma. It's not what you're worried about, probably. It does feel a little bit intrusive, like, to tell them, suddenly be like, hey, I'm your forgotten son. I know this is a noble thing, he's doing this from a noble place, but I think he should just say it. Maybe just oblivious.
ゴージャスタイガーとゴージャスミミはこれにておさらばだぜ。
Can't just co-opt the gorgeous part of my name. She really likes him, huh?
ガーフ、泣きそう。
I feel like, yeah, Mimi would not really be a lot of solace in times of complex emotional issues. But I think she actually would be really good to have around when what you need is like someone in a good, positive, strong spirit.
何を言い出しやがんだ
I never cry.
なわけねえだろう
I
が
don't know what crying is. You can't cry when you're carrying a quain stone.
リアラ、ガーフのお母さんなんでしょ？
She just snipped that right out.
だってガーフとリアラの匂い
Literally
すごい似てて
snipped it out because it wasn't going to be her emotional intuition.
俺様が名乗り出ても何にもならね
I respect him trying to tread lightly because it's a delicate situation. They have a whole family. She may not want to know the past.
惚れた女の胸で男は泣いてもいい。
Is the bosom in the room with us?
ガーフが惚れてなくてもミミが惚れてるから。ほら、ガーフに惚れた女ミミ。その胸
She's very pure. She has the intensity of purity. Doesn't mean she's not deadly and dangerous. In fact, it makes her more deadly and dangerous. She's got the purity of a wild animal.
だから泣いても大丈夫。
Oh, he's about to lose it. He's gonna lose it. She was right.
母さん母さん
Oh,
よしよし。
that's actually really sweet.
なんで俺を忘れてんだよ
Oh, I mean, come on. Head trauma, dude. Speaking of mirror neurons. To give this some credit, sometimes the way that emotions work, something's been activated. Something's hit really deep, and it's deeper than you even can really put a finger on at that moment. But we can't really have a zero value for the explanation or for the thought behind why the emotion's there, so we'll just pick the best one we can identify, and we'll say that's why we're upset. And in many cases, that is the reason. In many cases, it's adjacent to the reason. And also in many cases, it's not the reason at all. What's funny and weird is that this sometimes happens to me doing these videos, because I'll watch something emotionally impactful, and I'll get more out of it than I realize, or like there's a little bit of a internal processing time, and then suddenly I'm really emotional about something completely innocuous in my daily life, and I'm like, why am I tearing up right now? And then it's like, oh, maybe it's because I watched that episode today. This is just a shock, and what a lot of this might actually be is relief, and this all catching up to him and not knowing what to do about it, not knowing how to approach it. But initial reaction to it aside, I mean, it's actually a really wonderful thing. It's a great thing his mother's alive, and as complicated as the situation seems, I think there's a possible great outcome here. Part of this for Garf also will probably be like being afraid to even believe it or hope for anything good, because that just reactivates all the old wounds that previously he had developed a certain amount of closure on by just thinking she had died.
あ、そういえばソワリエ食べよう。
What is Soari? This is Soari, the legendary Soari.
ママ、うまい、うましい。
We still get mom's big goods though. That's almost as good.
私は魔女教滞在式を式役担当カペラエメラダルグ
Another one?
です。ひざまずいてひれ伏して糞尿垂らしてみ
Are they all here? I bet I'm gonna like Lust. I can feel it already. Man, this is a witch cultist tea party.
また七面倒くせえ状況だな兄弟
Oh, so we're just legless now?
エミリアとベアトリスは
It's at the wedding.
無事でよかった本当に
Yeah, I was surprised he was standing.
ちぎれかけの足をベアトリスちゃんがつ
Oh, is this a checkpoint? I don't know if I like this.
重ねて直してくっつけたっ
I don't know if I like Regulus just having Amelia.
あのチビが涙目で呼ぶもんだからついてったら広場が血で真っ赤っかだった
Oh, he actually helped.
眠ってる理由はマナ不足だからそれが補えれば目覚めるはずだけど
Can we do a mana transfusion?
命の無駄遣いなんて絶対しないで
悪い焦りすぎてたあ、そうや足の霊も言ってね
Yeah, it feels good that we're not alone anymore. It's so different.
あれも助かった
ちなみに俺はちゃんと霊が欲しくてやったことだぜ
上にクルシュ様たちが集まってるエミリア様を助けたいんならスバルキュンも話し合い
This
に
is
参
great.
加して
Yeah, this is great. Forget the pettiness. This matters so much more.
スバル様が遭遇したのは魔女教の滞在司教に間違いありませんか
Well, how would Subaru know for sure? I mean, I don't even really know what officially that means. It doesn't even seem to be official. The Sin Witches don't even seem to acknowledge them. They are self-proclaimed archbishops.
やはりあの放送は事実と考えて間違いなさそうですな。
Broadcast.
実は今から1時間ほど前に放送があったんです
What's their
そ
plan?
れが魔女教奴ら都市庁舎のミーティアを奪ったの
Man,
か
marrying Amelia was just a side quest for regular.
塔のてっぺんには魔女教の紋章の書か
Let's
れ
take it
た
over
旗
the
が
whole city.
掲げられています。もし水
Even
門
they
が
don't
解
all
放され
see
れば
eye to eye.
クリステラの町は一瞬のうちに水没してしまうでしょう。
Oh, do we have the whole city hostage? Gee, who could have ever imagined that this could go wrong? Living in a water trap. Surely nobody would ever exploit that.
記憶憤怒でも強欲でも
Yeah,
な
it's
く
bad.
はいその人物はカペラエメラダ・ルグニカと名乗り
Lugunica.
この都市に眠る魔女の遺骨
Oh, we got another witch's remains.
クリステラの成り立ちについては聞いてる？
確か都市そのものが何かを捕まえるた
Oh,
め
it's
の
meant to catch a
罠だ
witch. I wonder which witch it is. Which one of them can't swim?
ゴージャスタイガーさん。私の子供たちを見かけませんでした
Oh
か？
no.
今日は朝早くから遊びに出かけてしまって、二人とも避難所にもいなくて。
You need to watch your kids a little better. Gotta help.
あんたの子供と旦那は俺様が見つけ出してきてやら。
Gorgeous tiger. Garf just coming in the end there and sealing the whole episode. All jokes aside, though, that was really touching, and I really enjoyed the scene with him and Mimi. And I want to see him have closure on this with his mom. But yeah, it'll probably have to wait. Subaru's only dealt with one of these cultists at a time, right? Greed, wrath, gluttony, lust, and who knows, maybe there's more. Does this add some context for Echidna and her seal? If part of the cultist plot involves collecting all the corpses of the witches, then yeah, you would need some protection posthumously, wouldn't you? Alright, this is a far out theory, and I have no idea at all. But what this makes me think of is some kind of like genetically based lock, where if you have the DNA or essence or whatever it would be in ReZero of the witches, you could use that as a proxy cumulatively to gain access to something for which they either had access to or are the gatekeepers for. That's my attempt at a preliminary guess at what they're actually up to.